What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. Peace and blessings to each and every one of y'all. So, I'm getting ready to start my day. Um, Here's my question. Wherever you are, whatever you see in your day, may it be at work, maybe in transition to wherever you got to be, or even when you're home. Why does it seem now, more than ever, people have given up on themselves? And what I mean is, it just seems like if you're under the age of 35, older than the age of 16, I want you to hear this. Hear what I'm conveying. I don't have the ability to see what you see in your day to day. But what I do see, especially when it comes to my people, and I'm not talking because of the color of your skin, I'm talking about humanity. We are in a period, I always reference it as, um, well, let me rephrase this. And I appreciate you guys having patience as I convey this, because this is coming from my heart, as all things. But I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all. For those who have been blessed to see the backside of 40, you already know what I'm talking about. I'm very concerned with the generation that is coming behind us and the generation that's coming behind that generation. So let's go back 20 years. Well, let's, fast forward 20 years. And what is very disturbing is the generations that are growing. A lot of you do not have no identity. A lot of you have been misinformed. A lot of you unconditionally just want to be at peace at all costs. But because of how society is structured, there's no empathy, there's no compassion. And it is very obvious that the mindset to have to function in this world is to more or less get in where you fit in. And I'm sorry that that's not right. That's not right. I made a comment a couple videos ago, and I addressed it then, that the rate of us as a society is so accelerated that the things that we should take notice, take value, take stock in, we overlook. And these things have repercussions because we're going off of whatever the status quo made as an example. I I didn't take the time to do the research like I should have. But I will say this. Last night when I was at work, I start my day and end my day in prayer. And I'm here to tell you, y'all, there's a lot of us, there's a lot of people that genuinely care about your well-being. So the words that are coming out of my mouth is coming by way of my spirit. And that spirit is being governed by my Lord Jesus Christ. But I'm going to tell you, sometimes, y'all, it's hard to watch. It is genuinely hard to watch. So let me throw this disclaimer out. Everything that I'm conveying, it comes from a place of love, all right? Because I care about each and every one of you. I thank each and every one of y'all for just taking a second out of your day just to hear what I try to convey. And everything that comes from my mouth comes from my spirit, which is discerned by the Most High. But we got to fix it, y'all. We got to fix it. I know that many of you go to sleep with the hope of waking up from a nightmare that you live in, calling which is known as your life. Some of you have adopted a way of functioning just to make it through the end of the day because you are one step closer or one step away from disappointment. And you're trying to rationalize where you are with what is being dealt. You're saying to yourself, if I can just focus on what I need to do, overlook what I don't like to see, I think I can make it. But my question to you is this. That little boy, that little girl inside you, your conscience, you and I both know. We know the truth. You're doing time in your mind. You're doing time in your body. And slowly but surely, you're allowing your environment to take one piece from you every day. You're starting to embrace a conditioning in your mind that, well, if it don't kill me, it must make me strong. Let me tell you something. Strength is having the ability to look yourself in the mirror, to stop embracing and placing yourself in situations that will hold you back. Why do you think that I always convey, hey, if you're working full time, you're paying medical insurance, go talk to somebody. But you so worried about what your environment will say.
Jim to demonstrate how we turn cookies into the center of
You
our
gotta pardon
new
me,
cookie
y'all,
course.
because I got multiple channels going on. I'm sorry. But that's all right, because see, I know the devil's a liar. And I know the devil don't want me to put this out. And I'm going to continue to keep my prayers going out. I'm going to continue to speak my truth. And I'm going to continue to embrace my purpose. See, God has been merciful for me. He already showed me who I'm going to become. I've already told you this. When the work is all said and done, you're looking at Dr. Gerald Davis, clinical psychologist. Yes, that is my purpose. That is why each step that I take is bringing me one step closer to my reality. Because you're looking at a guy that got nothing but a bunch of love, y'all. But here's the thing about it. Oh yes, spiritual attack is real, y'all. It's real. Your angels and spirit guides are real. And unfortunately, the devil, his demonic minions are real. And I don't have to tell you that. I ain't got to tell you that. You shouldn't have to wake up every morning, roll to the side of your bed to grab that bottle, to start medicating yourself from the pain that you hold dear, or run into your bathroom and open that medicine chest to pull out that favorite little pill so that it'll take you out of your reality. That is what someone does that is functioning. And that is something you shouldn't have to do. You know, see, I'm not trying to make this as a rant, but I am a guy that cares. And one thing that really amazes me is you, my flowers, my queens, my beloved queens. See, I understand. Yes, you are given a gift of nurturement. Yes, you have an inner strength. But none of that matters. No matter whatever your gifts and talents are, have any validity to your life until you decide to get to know you. I know I'm talking to someone. I've spoken this time and time again. Society does not care about you. They care about your routing number. As long as it's making money, that's all they want. Why do you think families are so divided these days? Why? Because they know there's money in division. They know that there's money in fear. They also know there's money in impulsive thought. My queens, is it any secret? Is it any surprise to you that what you choose to look at on a day-to-day basis does not have an impact on your perceptions? Do you realize that society likes you being enabled? Because society wants to attack the way you think. Society wants you to disrespect yourself at all costs. You know why? because they know that once they have you at a point that you're so broken, you're going to do one or two things. Number one, you're going to be a slave to prescription pills because you've done so much damage to your body that that's going to be the only way you can function. Or B, you're going to walk around life sterile. Do you realize now we're living in an age where the average woman, let's not talk about spirituality, this fact. The average woman between the ages of from 16 to 29, she's already been she's already been intimate with over 30 men. 30 men. So let's take just one. You've been intimate with this person more than 10 times. It's like having a pretty candle, and once you light that candle and it burns, I the metaphor, don't burn your candles on both ends, right? Okay, there you go. So this becomes a pattern. This becomes an act of behavior. And then you start to indoctrinate a belief system on how things are able to be functioned in your life. So instead of having the time to ground yourself and invest in the things that should help spawn your growth and bring the best out of you, you don't want to invest in yourself. You want to go to the next step. It's no different than someone investing in a relationship, and then however that relationship is concluded, the next person that is in the wings, you jump right to that same level where you were with the other person. And the sad thing about it is, even if it was a toxic situation, that person still earned the right to have that level of intimacy with you. But because of the fact that you don't allow yourself to reflect where you've been, because you don't allow yourself to ground your feet, because you don't want to see your worth, you don't want to look at the pain. You don't even want to look at what caused this, the breakup. And what do? You let a stranger benefit from everything that you've done from your past, only to go through it again. And then you're frustrated because you're wondering why this person doesn't get you. But theoretically, they are getting you. They're getting the physical, not the emotional. And you know why? Because you're allowing it to happen. You're the problem. I'll do one better. My queens, unless you have a serious issue with your vision, or you truly do not understand. Do you not see the patterns in these reality shows? Number one, reality shows are not made for reality. They're made for TV, not for life. Hold on one second. And it's a travesty. It is. Look, let me call you right back. Right back. I'm sorry. But I love you guys so much. And it's not it's not a it's not a nationality thing. It's not a race thing. It's a human thing. My queens, my kings. It's time for you to get back on one. Do you not see your worth? Do you not? Do you actually think that whatever you're going through, you're supposed to be there? Honestly, the reason what you're seeing and experiencing, what you're dealing with, is because you refuse to love yourself. Now let's add a new. Let's throw the big equation in there. A lot of you don't believe in your spirituality. So things that occur, your discernment should kick in to let you know, hey, that's not the route to go on. Hey, don't pick that call on. Hey, what are you doing over there? These things are founded by your intuition. But see, I get it, queens. I ain't finished with you yet, kings. I'm gonna get on you in a minute too. Because see, somewhere along your development, you saw things. You saw things that were illustrated by patterns and behaviors by whoever that female was that was significant in your development. It might have been your mother. It may have been your auntie. It may have been your grandmother. Whoever was the significant female in your life, and you emulated their traits and behaviors. It may have also been someone that showed you kindness, that showed compassion, or worse, they were acting out of a negative position. And you're thinking to yourself, well, you know what? I may not have been able to walk in your shoes, but I can understand because I've had something similar occur. And since that was an effective result for you, I'm going to adapt that too. But you will always fall short. And you will continue to fall short because you won't invest in you. I had a conversation with someone last night, and I felt this very deep. And I'm not going to make this long because I'm just not. But society already has a template on how they want to view people. Let's use the media. You know how I feel about the media. How can you say I'm keeping it real when you ain't even keeping it real with yourself? That's why it's very imperative to not always go off of what is said, go off of the actions. Because you can't mask that. That's as transparent as it comes because you will see a behavior. Even the best of the best can't fool or mask things forever. Eventually, the real them will come. Um, and I said, you know what? In this conversation, I said, haven't you noticed when you look at the media, I'm talking, you know, movies, TV, you always see the same dynamic. The heavyset male or female, you never see her in the leading role or him in a leading role. He's always the person that has to deliver the jokes, has to do the extra. Why? Because they don't want them to be the lead, because they already know that that is going to influence other people that fit that dynamic. The same as with minorities. How often do you see a minority? I don't care if it's black, Latino, Asian, period. They're always in a supportive light. if she's a black woman, or, I'm not trying to make this a race thing, I'm just making a point. They always got you doing something strange for some change. You playing the hooker. You playing a role that is not in a good light. And I know someone saying, well, Gerald, what about Scandal? Let's peel that onion back. Yes, she was the star of the show, but what was her role? If you took away her job, this is what you saw. You saw a woman that was walking around with a lot of emotional baggage. And the way that she navigated through life, she had to lie. She had to be manipulative. She had to put spins on things instead of coming correct. So how can you say you have integrity when you bend them? And if it's a black man, Latino, whatever, you're either selling drugs, you're a criminal element of some type, your communicational skills are broken, and they look at you as not even someone to take serious. Why? Because you don't take yourself serious. And here's the funny thing about it, figuratively. You have those that come into a financial status that is very prevalent, and you wear it as a badge, and you wonder why these people, doesn't matter the demographic. One minute they're on top, the next minute they're not. Everything that was given is taken away because they have to play a role. And the moment that they decide not to play that role, there's a disclaimer. Oh, well, I got to take back everything I invested because they already know that these are the puppets to the masses. Because they already know there's going to be someone that say, I can relate to you. My queens, why is it that the women that you see on these reality TV shows are not women? They're not real at all. You look at them, they have so much work done, so much alterations done, and that tells me right off the bat that you have low self-esteem. Doesn't matter what's in your purse, because we also know that you did something to get that purse. The point I'm trying to make is this. At the end of the day, it is about those routing numbers. It's about keeping the money coming at all costs. But it shouldn't be about the expense of your respect. And see, this brings me to this point. My queens, why are you sleeping around so much? Why are you allowing just anybody inside you? They don't even know your middle name. They don't even know that one hobby that you keep secret because they haven't earned the right for you to feel emotionally safe around. But yet you freely give your body away like you are swapping cooking recipes. The question I would ask is this. If your grandmother or your grandfather, how about your father or your mother, was able to see what you put out there in the public eye, would they be proud to claim you? But most of you don't care about that. Most of you don't even realize that 20 years from now, you're going to be looking back right now and saying, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I never had went down that road. I wish I never went to his house. Because you're going to be feeling the residual effects of choices that you have made. Is it me or is it society in fashion more and more. There's starting to be a blurred line from what you see the exotic dancers wear while they're doing their job to what you wear out in public. Why are you wearing yourself so tight and then have the nerve to look at men that pass you as if they stole something from you? They didn't steal your respect, you gave it away. But yet, in the same breath, you say, oh, I want a good man. I want somebody that's going to let me have that dream of that big old house, 2.5 kids, and the cars that go with it. That is not going to happen until you decide to look in that emotional backpack called your trauma. Take accountability for the things that you have said and done. Now let me throw this out here too. I told you this is going to get you in trouble. And people fail to realize you will never own your internet provider. You won't. You won't own public utilities. So you can't control that. But anything that you put out on the internet is subject to public record. But see, you keep chasing after Mr. Wrong. What does Mr. Wrong do? He systematically convinces you, hey, let's do this together. And you go along with it because it's new. Then you're wondering why he leaves. Never once wondering what happens to that data. I know Kings, y'all saying, well, no, man, don't bash, because women be doing it too. I know that. I know that too. There are just many of y'all that don't care about yourself. And the question that needs to be asked, what happened in your life, or who said something that was so earth-shaking that you said, you know what, I don't care who sees me in any kind of light. What happened? What made you wake up one day and say, you know what, I don't care if I sleep with every man that breathes, because y'all doing it. And then you have the nerve to look at the people kind of sideways like, why are you looking at me that way? Because you know better. And you turn around and lie. You lie and lie, which was nothing but a perception that people put out there to condone the truth. Don't you realize everything you do will come to the light sooner or later? Why? You know why? Because you can't run from you. You can't run. You can't run from yourself. But I get it. See, some of y'all queens have been broken so bad because your father wasn't in your life. Your mother didn't pay you no mind because she didn't have herself together. And they just left you to figure it out. So the first act of kindness that came into your life, you gravitated to it. Little did you know they were setting you up. I know somebody saying, you ain't talking about me. Yeah, I am. Because you know it's the truth. That's why that's why some of y'all feel a certain kind of way when someone asks you, well, how many partners have you had? And you're like, ah. You know why? If a man does not ask you how many partners you have had, that's a direct correlation that he don't respect you at all. He don't care. You might as well be a tire on his car. You are something that is there to serve a purpose, and when it is done, he gonna replace you. Therefore, that means your life does not matter. I know somebody saying, he talking about you. Yeah, because you playing the role of the concubine. Because your mind ain't right. You broken. You living in your brokenness. And the question is why? So if it got you feeling a certain kind of way from the words coming out of my mouth, just know I'm telling you everything that the people that genuinely love you been trying. If you keep going down the road you're going on, you're gonna die. Something is going to alter your life permanently. And for those people that think it's cute, you just go on here and run off and get married to somebody because they got stability, but you don't love them. You know what's going to happen? You can't, your arms ain't long enough to box with God. But God will make sure that those blessings don't come either. And one by one, everything that it took that was a lie, deception, or a ploy will be made revealed. And the worst thing you want to do is be attached to someone that never loved you. Oh, don't worry. Whatever it took for them to get you, they gonna lose too. Because it ain't blessed. It ain't blessed. So, Queens, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. You're not, your role is not to play the side chick. Your role is not to play the get it girl. Your role is not to be willfully exploiting yourself for someone else's benefit. What separates you from that woman walking that corner? What separates it? Because I'm going to tell you what. The woman that's walking the corner, emotionally, she done checked out a long time from herself. And she thinks, well, you know what? As long as I got this vagina, as long as I got this mouth, as long as I got this backside, they'll keep coming. You think she's worried about her health? You think she's worried about yours? No. But every time you lay up with somebody, and pretty much it's a pay to play, they there because of what you're doing. Ain't no love in it. They know it, and they know it that you don't care. So guess what? They're gonna wear you like a piece of shoes. What shoes? They're gonna disrespect you as much as they can until you say no, and guess what? They leave. Jigs up. And what happens? You look in the bathroom, you look at your body, you look at the discoloration. Vagina looks all tattered and torn. It's not supposed to be that way, y'all. It's not. You keep listening to these artists on these songs. That's fantasy. You think they live like that for real? Nah. Nah, they ain't gonna do that. They put that out there so you can eat it up. I'll never forget the time I I met this girl and we talked. It wasn't personal. She sought me out and she confided, said, you know, Gerald, I've been with over 350 men, and she was under the age of 30. And I asked, well, why you do it? Why are you doing that? He said, because Gerald, if for me to feel loved, I have to have the embrace of a man. And I know that's what some of y'all are doing. Y'all think that because of the fact that he's inside you, you're being loved. No, you ain't. You're being used. Because if he loved you, why didn't he change your name? I know somebody saying, well, Gerald, I'm engaged. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it's God in it. Does that man fear God? Does he want you to walk upright? Because I'm going to tell you what, there's a difference between being a wife that's virtuous and a lover who is not. Do you think it's ironic that you haven't met their family? He don't even tell you his day to day. It's deliberate. Why? Because he doesn't want to invest in you. He just wants to get inside you. And I know this too. A lot of this goes down because this person is a predator. They know that you have no support. And they know that you ain't got no brothers because if you had brothers and uncles that were actively in your life, they know that their ass would be handed. So guess what? They give you a bowl of bullshit to eat. Fill your head with a bunch of dreams as long as they can fill it between your legs. And you take it. But that don't give you a pass, my queens. I know some of my beautiful queens, you're 35 plus, and deep down inside, you hate men with a passion. You look at men as just a means to get by. So you try to use your little tricks, your little charms. Guess what? You're going to pay for that too. Because what's going to happen? God's going to get tired of you. And what'll end up happening is you'll end up living a life by yourself. This goes for you too. Y'all been hurt so bad. You say, oh, I don't want to have nothing to do with men anymore. I'm going to explore. Let me tell you something. Sooner or later, you're going to find your way back to you. Because trust and believe. You think you're gonna find happiness because you laying up with another woman? She got the same thing as you. And before you sit up here and say, well, Gerald, it's an emotional thing, you wouldn't understand. Let me tell you something. She just as broke as you. And as soon as you don't decide to play your position, she gonna hurt you more than your last boyfriend. You know why? Because it's not blessed. That's something you ain't supposed to do. And I know y'all gonna be like, well, Gerald, you just I'm being a bigot. Okay, let me explain something to you. At the end of the day, my soul is not for sale. I love my Lord Jesus Christ, and He guides my steps. And I humbly understand what divine order is. So all this is going on. I told y'all, ain't nothing but the Jezebel Ahab spirit wreaking wreaking havoc on those that have yet to embrace themselves, to, to have a relationship with God. That's why you're going through what you're going through. But for those that want to have a position of saying, well, Gerald, why you bashing on same-sex relationships? You know what? At the end of the day, I put my shoes on my feet. I send my prayers up, and I let God guide me. And I know what the order was because this is what you don't like. Your life manual is here. If he wanted you to have it, it would be in here. You can't dispute it. And for those that want to sit up here and say, well, Gerald, my pastor's gay, then he ain't respecting. Well, you know he gonna pay for that, right? You're gonna pay for that. And for these pastors out here using their position to benefit them, I think it was Michael Basin said it best. Pimps in the pulpit, every indiscretion, you're going to pay for it tenfold. Because you're being blasphemous. I ain't got to tell you, look at your life. I ain't going to tell you that because guess what? The reality ain't your life. What you have is blessed, but you ain't going to have access to it until you get serious and take accountability for where you are. Stop running from yourself. Stop destroying your body. Stop altering your mind. Why do you think they legalized marijuana? Honestly. You know why they did that? It's the same as they did with alcohol. Because they want to make sure they can get money from it. But guess what? They also know this. If you're so focused on getting high, you won't be a threat when they implement these laws to take your civil rights and liberties away. You already calculated it's not a risk. So of course they want you to be gluttonous. Eat all you want. Don't take care of your body. Sleep with everybody. So what? He's had so many diseases, and you wake up and you got them bumps down there, and you don't know how you got it. He ain't gonna tell you. He ain't gonna tell you nothing. He gonna play you like the Discovery Channel. Here's a remote. Turn the channel to a new lie. Because you ain't the only one. He's running the same games that he's been running until he's found out. Same with you women. Some of y'all are out there sleeping with multiple guys. Well, Gerald, I know that's bad, but I was in a tough spot. Does your tough spot remind you every time you walk because you sore? Because he doing things to you, and you wonder why your throat hurt, and you have the nerve to tell someone, "Oh, I got a cold." Nah, that's your disrespect that you can't cough out. My people, I love you. You got to get it together. Stop listening to these clowns out here. You got all these people that ain't. You better watch out for that truck that is waiting to catch you stepping off that curb that's going to wreck your life. God loves you, but he can't do nothing if you won't love yourself. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. You ain't supposed to be on this planet playing the prostitute. You getting turned out and taking your butt to work every day, and people ask like, what's going on with you? because they see a wreck. Why won't you see it too? And for that, for that, for that, it helps me discern mine. And you wonder why you're unable to find Mr. Right, why there's no good men in your life. It's because God is not going to give you what you need because he don't want you to squander it. But guess what? Mr. Wrong, he knows you ain't got the courage. So guess what? He's going to just keep tearing you up until you quit.